Because do you want to belong to that club that's called WWC? Anybody know what that club is? Of course you don't, because I made it up. Wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. We do not want to belong to that club later on. And there's one thing that I do ask everyone in that class, and I ask them, how's everybody feeling? And the answer to that question is, feeling good, sir! So is everybody awake?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. So how's everybody feeling? All right, see, excellent. That's good job. All right, I'm going to talk about performance-based living, and there are a few things that I think are really key and really fundamental to that. And the first one is we want to develop a philosophy of movement. We want to have a philosophy of movement where we live an activities-based life. Think of ways that you incorporate movement into your life. That's the first one. The second one is you need to break the back of the status quo. You must break the back of the status quo because you're always doing the same thing and there aren't any changes that are made. And I forget exactly who said this. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something to change. Well, of course, nothing is going to change. What scares us about change is we think, oh gosh, I've got to make some kind of big changes, which is not the case. All you have to do is start with small changes and just take it one step at a time. And what happens is, and this is the other interesting thing, it's not about eating and exercise. It has nothing at all to do with eating or exercise. And it has everything to do with how you think. And if we understand that process, then that'll help us move forward. You've got to break the back of the status quo. You need to throw a monkey wrench in if you see that the lifestyle you're leading needs some fine-tuning. The third thing is you've got to be your own drill instructor. You have to become your own drill instructor. And sometimes, for me, I get up during the week because I do 2 to 3 hours of personal training in the morning. It starts at 5 a.m. So I'm up at 10 minutes to 4. And I literally have to say to myself sometimes, get up. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I do. But you know what I call that? I call that the great debate. That's the great debate with oneself. Should I or shouldn't I? And we go through this debate with every single decision we have to make. And as long as we become, and it's good to become, and I always jokingly mention this with my classes as well, and of course they all grin, and especially Saturday mornings, there are not as many people there because some of them maybe went out at night, or they want to sleep in a little longer. So we always have to make a decision. There's that great debate inside, and it's important to be aware of that. Eliminate all excuses altogether. And the big reason is there are enemy soldiers on American soil. And the names of these soldiers are heart disease, cancer, and stroke. They are killing over 3,000 Americans a day. This is a sober fact. A sober fact. The number is actually kind of low because it's higher. 3,000 a day. 70 to 80% of those deaths are lifestyle related. It means it didn't have to be. Didn't have to be at all. And the good news is, regardless of where we're at right now, we can still do something. You want to eat close to nature, basically. And that's what I call performance-based eating. Food that is minimally manipulated by man has more nutrients and micronutrients in it. Now, science has looked at, we've got vitamin A and vitamin B and certain phytochemicals, but the truth of the matter is there are hundreds of thousands of them that science doesn't even know what the purpose is. And it has been created and mixed in such a way, predominantly plant-based, to eat. And I'm not necessarily saying to be a vegetarian, although, honestly, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all, because that's where you're going to get your primary health. One of the big killers in this country as far as the time is concerned, and people say most of the time, I just don't have time. I don't have time to get an exercise program. Does everybody here have 10 minutes of time a day? Just 10 minutes. That's all it takes. Now here is the interesting thing. As soon as you start devoting the 10 minutes, for some reason or other, you'll start finding 15. And then you start finding 20. And then you find somebody else that gets excited about it, and they also start finding time, and before you know it, you're up to half an hour or 45 minutes, and suddenly you turn around and say, what was that other lifestyle I was leading? Big things in this country. We got a lot of people that spend time on television, watching TV. They spend time on computers and those Game Boys or whatever they're called out there. The truth of the matter is TV kills in this country. That father with 5 children who spent that extra hour watching TV instead of doing something for his health, to be there for his children and grandchildren that had that heart attack, it killed him. So television actually does kill. But I do want to give you one stat. In the business side, 20% of employees are responsible for 80% of the costs related to lost productivity and health care. And that is a sober fact. That's a sober fact. 20%. And so it is also related to that lifestyle aspect as well. I want you to decide today, think about what change, where you can start. If you need that time of 10 minutes, use that, because do you want to belong to that club that's called WWC? Anybody know what that club is? Of course you don't, because I made it up. Wheelchairs, walkers, and canes. We do not want to belong to that club later on. And this is what I'd like to give to you to take with you. The ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King. Thank you very much. God bless you.